Well, here's an update on the inside of the house. This is knockdown texturing that I added to the wall because there was a great big, somebody troweled on a big circle like this, and it was so smooth that there was no knockdown texture. So I added a couple layers to smooth that out, so when you paint it, it won't stand out. Because as you can see, or maybe you can't, see the knockdown texturing? See this? If it's all smooth, it'll really stand out like crazy. So the other thing is, man, like I've said before, whoever lived here before stapled, you see all these white spots? That's all the staple repairs I had to do. Man, what a pain in the butt. So anyway, I've caulked the ceilings. I've fixed almost everything. There's still a couple of rough spots. So get out of the way. You see that? It looks kind of bad. What it is candle wax. Molten candle wax spilled against a wall. Man, you tell me how to get that crap off. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I may have to scrape it all the way down to bare drywall. That kind of big yellow spot down there, right here, there's a big old hole in the wall. So I had to backfill it with foam, put spackling over it, and then texture it. So it looks like it's hidden pretty good. Next to it, marked with that blue piece of tape right here, is yet again more candle wax. We've taped off all the outlets and phone covers and all that stuff, and the windows obviously too, because at some point here this is all going to get sprayed again. The ceiling's in real good shape. Like I said, I caulked all this stuff shut up here. I don't know if you can see it in the video. You'll see dark line here, dark line there, dark line there. I think that must have been air leakage from up there. So it's all sealed now. Got a couple of doozies, however. Let's see if I can get this out of the way long enough to show you. Look at that. That sucker's got to be 16 inches wide and 2 feet high. A monster I have to fix. Look at that. That sucks. But there you go. A landlord that rented out to people that they didn't give a shit about. And then I had to put it in all these moldings here around the encasements. I had to put a ton of brads in with the air nailer and then fill them all in. So now it looks a lot better filled in. But this thing would actually move in and out. They were all that way. So, and then, oh man, what a bitch that's going to be. The problem is, I don't even know if we can see it. Under the bathtub in there, it's open to under the house. I don't know if there's anything I can do about it. So, apparently one of these water pipes broke in the past. I met somebody that used to live here, and I don't know if it's this double jointed thing or one of these copper things. The copper tends to be the stock factory stuff. So, and then that hole right there that these come through, it's all got to be sealed off. Anyway, I've done some work in here, but not near as much. As you can tell, there's craters everywhere, and you don't just fill them, you got to fill them and texture them and to make them really look nice, you know. So anyway, I think I just found a big old crack along here. So yeah, so see the joint up here around almost the whole house needs to be resealed, and that's all right, you know. It's just work that needs to get done. The floor, you got to paint and then you put the flooring in, right? So see, it says soft high. So this part of the floor is actually higher than the rest, but it's soft, it's bouncing under me, and that's low. So based on the stain pattern, it could have come out of the bathroom. It also could have come from the roof. The crown of the roof didn't have any shingles on it, and that's it right there. And I found some stuff where it's dribbled down the inside of the walls and then damaged stuff in here. So this all has to come out from probably, somewhere in here. Maybe that corner would be a better place. Put in all new, this is 3/4 inch particle board, so it gets all new particle board. You can hear it creaking here and there. Anyway, all these walls are filled, so when the painting gets done, then we can start on the floors. All the staples get pounded down, and we've got to sand these seams and refill them so they're nice and flat. A little bit more wall work needs to be done there. I've done this wall pretty well. I've done that bridge right there. And above the door and around the door was just a mess. So the guys, actually it was just Joe. I had him come by and he stripped out all the linoleum. It went down at an angle like this. I had him take it all out and then stop, and then I said, this kitchen sucks. So we took out all the linoleum here too, pulled the stove out. All these counters are sitting on the remnants of it, but the hardest place to get it out, you can see all these chunks in the floor he took out. This section just didn't want to come out. So we're going to have to put some filler on it and sand it smooth and stuff. Or as they used to say on Cheech and Chong, moon-sized crater filler. So anyway, that's our status for right now. We're getting there. I mean, things are all taped off. This is a big deal. So once it gets painted, I plan on spraying this room. It'll all be white, off-white. This will get sprayed. This will get sprayed. This wall in the hallway, that wall, of course the ceiling, and then this room here. That's where I'm going to stop because I've got too much stuff in here to even do hardly any prep. And everything that was in the, see, you can't hardly see it. There's just tons of crap piled in here. So that room is going to be dead last with this one. I'll probably have to roller it. I guess I could spray it, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. Such a tiny amount of work, although it sure goes a lot faster. So anyway, things are starting to square up. It's hard to see in video, but at least the floor is nice and is stripped, This is a good sign. Got some repairs to make, and I can't wait to shoot it. I can't wait. I haven't decided. This ceiling has a bit of a shine to it. You can see it. And I don't know what they used on it, if it was, I don't think this is semi-gloss. It might be. Somewhere, semi-gloss or satin. You don't want it real shiny because then it looks really cheap and shitty. So, kitchens and bathrooms, you do that because you want to make sure you can scrub it clean. But ceilings you don't worry so much about. So I'm not sure, satin or eggshell. I've got some paint from the old days. Maybe I could put some up and then see how well it shines before we make a final decision here. But that's it. Just a short update. Didn't want to bore you guys too bad. But we are getting ready for paint. See, everything's all taped off, man. And that is a very good sign. Making progress. Now, what happens tomorrow, in theory, is our windows will arrive at the store, and then either they get delivered here or we go get them. All new windows. And yours truly will be installing them. So, let me depart onto that topic for a second. Guess which is going to be the first window getting replaced. I started on that a little bit, and it's not easy. Getting this trim off, see here? I tried going real slow getting it off, and it just breaks all the hell. Now this is the older style of this. It's 1/2 by 3" trim. This is particle board trim. Now they make it out of masonite. Ooh, ah. So anyway, you got to remove all the trim, pull all the nails, and then unscrew the window, and apparently it comes out. And hopefully the dimensions I took and the math I did, which is you add a 1/2 inch for the drywall on the inside, on each side, that's 1 inch, and then you subtract a 1/2 inch. So you got some room to level it and move it around. So the lady I was ordering the windows from wasn't clear on all of that, so I kind of had to explain it to her. So anyway, this will be the first window we do because we have easy access. We can stand right here and do it. And it's the ugliest. So the new windows come with screens, but they're just bug screens. This is a sunscreen. You can see you can't even see through it. It's to reflect and keep out lots of sunlight because the sun sets right over there. So anyway, all these windows get replaced except for the little bitty tiny square one, rectangular one in the master bathroom. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. But this place leaks like crazy. Yeah, we got people hot rodding up and down. I had the whole road, I had 3/4 of my street ground very nicely by a professional, and it works really well. So they can travel faster on it, but I hope they don't tear it up. Anyway, new windows. Now, a test that you can look up, it's called blower door test. What you do is you hire somebody, yeah right, that takes basically it's made out of tent material. You fill the opening with a frame in this tent material, and they mount a fan in the middle, and the fan can blow in or out. You can either pressurize the house or evacuate the house. So what I'm going to do is evacuate the house, and the reason you do that is if you have a vacuum basically in the house, it'll suck outside air in through every leak you have. Well, from the inside out, it's hard to show with the sun not behind me, but you can see daylight under here, and I mean like an 1/8 inch high. So that thing leaks air like crazy. It would suck air into the house. So it depends on whether it's you know what season it is, whether you're sucking in hot air or cold air. So the point of doing that is to make sure that these windows actually do seal, the new ones. Before I had all these taped in like this, they were just hanging. I just took that's just painter's plastic for throwing over furniture and stuff. See how that's just hanging there, that plastic? When you turn on the swamp cooler, that plastic just, it sucks right up tight against the window, because the windows leak like a damn sieve. So they all did this. I think maybe one of these windows didn't, but these windows are in bad shape. Plus, most of them you can't open. Somebody glued them shut because they were trying to live on the cheap with no heater, and that's not easy out here. So anyway, what I was thinking of doing in this case is this window slides up. On the outside, somehow attach my whole house fan and let it evacuate the house. Now you're going to have tons of big leaks that are real obvious, like that crater right there. This whole thing, probably the furnace, probably leaks like a sieve. And that huge hole I showed you under the shower in the master bathroom. The thing that I wonder about is when they do this kind of a test, you know that these ducts all go to the furnace or swamp cooler, right? So that means you'd be sucking air through the ducts. So how do they account for that? Now, in some of the tests they do, they actually cover those. You'll see in some of the videos on YouTube where they actually cover them with some mildly self-adhering plastic, and boom, they put it on, cover that. So I suppose that's something I need to get done. The other test is to pressurize the ducts and find out where they leak. Because one thing I noticed probably about 6 weeks ago It was a real hot, dry day, and this is the access hatch to underneath the house. It's the front access, and I could smell and feel cool, moist air coming out of here, which means instead of pumping it into the house, it's pumping it out to the world via the basement of my house. So I got to send Joe down there, and he's got to find out what's leaking, and we've got to get it fixed. So that's on the list too. Anyway, you can see, getting back to the windows, you see there's trim everywhere. I mean, I don't know if I can save these. These are like fake particle board shutters. But I think once this trim starts coming off, that stuff's all going to get wrecked. Oh, and there's a big old piece in the middle. I didn't even realize that. It's got to be, what, 6 inches wide? So anyway, putting in the windows is going to be one project, and then retrimming this place is a whole other. The good news is the local lumber yard takes this. This is actually siding or something. I don't know if it's actually this siding, because this stuff has grooves in it 8 inches, every 8 inches. So I'm not sure how they do it, but they take a whole sheet and they cut this down into 3-inch wide strips. So I don't know, this place is probably going to take a couple of sheets of strips, easy, maybe more than that. So anyway, that's where we sit. And then we get to the exterior, which means sealing all the cracks. See all those cracks, the trim and everywhere else. Get rid of all that blue. That's the underlayment that we use. We didn't use felt because that stuff's cheap and shitty. This synthetic stuff is awesome. The roofers never had used it before, and they were blown away by it. So we got to trim all that excess off. You'll see it everywhere, piece of tape. You know, anyway. Lots of exterior shit to do. Oh, well, I'll show you one other terrific little... God, I should go through the inside of the house for this, but... one of the repairs I have to make, see that right there? That used to be a nest for a woodpecker. And then these little dark brown birds that make the most god-awful squawking, they toss the woodpeckers out. Now, you can also see above that window right here that there's tin screwed on. And the end of the house has a ton of it. Woodpeckers, apparently, from the previous tenant, told me that they pecked holes all through this place. So all that's got to be replaced before I can shoot the outside. So, because eventually, and I've joked about this since I moved here, the goal is to move in by Christmas. Which is funny because that means I'll have been here 6 months living in a trailer, which is all right. It's my Burning Man trailer. It's been working just fine. But it would be nice to be able to stretch my legs a little bit. So anyway, that's where we stand. The solar's working good. My buddy bought the same inverters I did, the replacements, and he's going to test his. Mine shows that they're not very efficient. See that, the small inverters, these are the stock Enphase. That is a WC, what the hell is it called? WCV? It's a 4-input inverter. You can hook 4 panels up to it, which I should try, but the output's really bad. It's not in good shape. They don't do a very good job. It's very inefficient, and I'm not terribly interested in buying more of them. So, since these are first generation Enphase, they have a high failure rate. I might buy another pair of them just to have a match set, because even though they have a high failure rate, they're super efficient, man. They actually start putting out power just before the sun comes up. As soon as there's light in the sky, they'll start making power. I mean, it is amazing. Not much power, obviously, just a few watts, but you know, over the course of a year, that adds up. Anyway, that's enough rambling. This place is going to be major construction here in the next few days. I did figure out the outlet problem. There's 3 outlets on the outside, and I wanted them all working for the sprayer. And it turns out that the GFI breaker in the bathroom powers all these, which is not an uncommon cheap way to do it. And anyway, so they're all working now, and I have a place to plug in the sprayer on the outside, and I don't have to run a 1,000-foot extension cord all the way around the house. Anyway, that's it. It's getting there. Having all that old carpet and linoleum gone is a big deal.